Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Game Over Vancouver. My name is Kaja Antic. I'm here with Mark Sianquita. The Vancouver Canucks won in overtime, 2-1 to the San Jose Sharks. I feel like we've seen this film before, except this time it was not a Drew O'Connor penalty shot in overtime because that is a thing that happened this season that I totally remember happening this season. Um, but no, it was a Jake DeBrusk, Brock Besser assist, Quinn Hughes record-breaking secondary assist on that, which we will talk about in a second. But before we get into any of that, just a reminder, shift into hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with your new source for all the biggest stories in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with a Quebecois flavor. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top-tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, and a damn fun atmosphere that will drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max Van Oots, Daphne Malbeuf, and Kevin Laramie once the playoffs resume for your fill on the hockey world. Watch on YouTube on the Game Over Network channel or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. Head to our website, thegameovernetwork.com, for more. All right, Mark, if you could
Hi.
sum this game up in one word, what would you say?
The season's almost done. Oh, one word. Thankful.
Thankful. What are you thankful for?
That's over.
I was gonna
No,
say, yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say really quickly, like it was a decent game. Like we were able to see a lot of the young guys step up just because they had to. But also like when both teams take a timeout in overtime, when the game doesn't really mean much, I'm just kind of waiting for it to end in a sense.
Yeah, yeah. I was a little confused. I mean, like I get it, but also it's the San Jose Sharks who are the most fun last place team, and the Vancouver Canucks who are so mediocre it hurts my soul. Um, yeah, my word was just gonna be happened. It
Mm,
happened. Nothing really of note aside. I mean, there were a couple of debuts that we will talk about in a bit here. Um, but yeah, San Jose, they started Alex Georgiev, who stopped 35 of 37 shots. So, an actual good performance from him. Connor in the chat says self-reflecting as his word. Good
mm.
good word. I think it still counts as one word because it's hyphenated. But yeah, when it went to overtime, I'm like, this is I think they said 24th overtime of the season for the Canucks, which
Yeah.
is just so annoying.
Yeah, like it's one thing to be in the overtime 24 times, but to to lose half of them, or like almost half of them is another thing.
hmm
So when we went into another overtime, I'm just like, this is a great summary of the season.
Yeah, but you know what? At least they're getting free hockey because
True.
tickets, even though the Canucks are absolutely awful, tickets are still very expensive. Like, I'm still getting Student Rush. It's like, oh, starting at $79, and I'm like, that's
I got the same message. I was like, that was a good deal, which says a lot about the season.
yeah. But I'm also like, what student? It's also finals season, which
Mm.
for like most students still. But yeah, like you're like, oh yeah, here, come spend $80 to watch the worst team in the NHL play the morally worst team in the NHL. So, just kidding. The Chicago Blackhawks were not in this game. Um,
Respect.
thank you. Scoring, nothing really happened in the first. I mean, the Canucks had 12 shots on goal to San Jose's 3. Um, but of course in the second period at 4:20 of the second, which John Shorthouse was definitely pointing out, Macklin Celebrini on the power play. Of course, if it's not a former Canuck, it's gotta be a guy who's from here. And a former Canuck in Tyler Toffoli also gets an assist, and I forgot what his first name, Cagnoni? Kago, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Apparently he's from Burnaby. So
Luca?
Luca
Luca
Cagnoni, yeah. He's from Burnaby.
Hmm.
So it was two players from here in Celebrini and Cagnoni, and one player that used to play for the Canucks in Toffoli, all combining for that power play goal. So yeah, 1-0 Sharks, and it's 1-0 Sharks until about halfway through the third when Linus Karlsson gets one past Alex Georgiev for his
Which,
third of the year.
if I can say really quickly about that goal, I think, what's it called? It was set up really, really greatly by DPD,
Mm-hmm.
by having a strong body and really pushing away the shark that was forechecking him. And he basically carried the puck all throughout the defensive zone and made the
Mm-hmm.
play into the neutral zone. And Carlson's goal was a basic. I won't say sorry, not basic, but like it was very much the perfect bot six goal, which is to crash the net as much as you can
Mm-hmm.
to see if the puck gets to your stick. And just to, I will say, just to quickly give him a shout out, I think Linus Carlson was one of the best Canucks on the ice tonight.
Yeah,
Like I think he's solidified a spot next season.
yeah. I mean, hopefully, yes, but
Hopefully.
I I also they mentioned on the broadcast one of my favorite little tidbits about him is his the draft pick that drafted him was used to trade for Lou Lamoriello, which I just think is so funny still. Um
I love that Trails pointed that out too.
yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's my favorite bit of trivia about Linus Carlson. I just watched so like the goal visualizer that the NHL has. It was Will Smith that was checking Elias Baby Patterson. Um, I'm like, I can't. It's yeah. It's it's game 81. We'll run it back next year. Um, I'll figure it out over the summer because they're all staying here. But yeah, it was Will Smith, which like he's very much a forward. I don't watch a lot of San Jose Sharks stuff. I just know that he's one of their rookies and he lives with Patrick Marleau.
I think like Will Smith, like considering the fact that the Sharks have like Will Smith, Celebrini, and William Eklund, their
Mm-hmm.
future is very scary.
Oh, absolutely. And they have
Yeah,
good like veteran presence in like Tyler Toffoli.
into Foley.
Yeah. I the San Jose Sharks are going to be scary good in a few years. Um and yeah, like they've been described the most fun last place team. But I like that they brought Will Smith in the same year as Macklin Celebrini because they were different draft years. I feel like that's what the Blackhawks should have done with anybody for Bedard, but they just let Bedard in on his own. And maybe that's why he's sad. Just saying.
I
Bedard
mean, he might just be sad because he's on a line with Ilya Mikheyev.
true, and we know how that worked out for
I mean, it's working out for Mikheyev. I think he's a 20 goal scorer this season. Yeah, fun fact.
on the
He's
Chicago
performing.
Blackhawks, somebody could score 20 goals. That's wow. Did Will Smith think Patterson was Chris
That was
Rock?
Chris Rock.
To my knowledge, he didn't
Good one.
slap him, but that is DP'd is dumb. He should be EPD. Elias Police Department, soon to be law enforcer in the defensive unit. That's amazing. I do I do like that. I think because I also think DPD is Marcus Pedersen, which this is just all so confusing to me. And
Mm.
there's too many of them. I liked the bit, but the bit has gone on so long. And now they're all re-signed for many years.
I'm very down for this bid,
I like the
honestly.
bit. I
Like,
appreciate the commitment to the bit, but also, oh my god.
like you know what? Like, I will give it to the scouting department of the Canucks that if they drafted DPD or Elias Pettersson because it was funny, I will 100% give it to them that I will 100% like respect that decision. But if they drafted him because of his name and because of his defensive presence, then that's even more impressive. Also, we grew up with the Sedins, so
True, but
I
at
think
least they had different first names.
true.
Like, this is exactly the same thing. I, yeah. Also, I had a point about the Sedins when I was watching the Women's Worlds, but I was literally just talking to myself. Um, I feel like, on ice, it's like twin chemistry is up there, and then married couple chemistry, because Marie-Philippe Poulin and Laura Stacey can just find each other on the ice at any given point. If you're not watching the Women's World Championships, you absolutely should. It's amazing. The amazing game today between Canada and Czechia that I watched. It was up tight until the third, but yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different hockey game. But Linus Karlsson gets the tying goal, and then of course we go to OT. Because who doesn't love a good overtime? The Canucks had 8 shots in OT.
Hmm.
San Jose had one.
The Canucks dominated overtime for the most part.
Yeah, because
Especially with oh sorry, I cut you off.
I was just gonna say, especially like possession wise, because it's a possession game, and
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Quinn Hughes, I think, plays with crazy glue on his stick.
Mhm.
Like, it's
I
wild.
mean, that's kind of like how I play NHL. Like if I'm playing with the Canucks, Quinn Hughes has puck the entire time because he moves fast and can puck handle. Um, but yeah, like very, very dominating overtime from the Canucks, and it was pretty funny because the one time the Sharks had possession, with Georgiev saving the puck and passing it to Celebrini, he immediately ices it.
You know what, kid? You tried.
He scored, so
He
it
scored.
worked.
Yeah, good work. He got a hat trick to try and keep the Canucks in the playoff hunt. So, you know what? Kudos to him. Um, yeah. Anyway, later on with 18 seconds left, I want to say, in overtime, 4:42 in OT, Jake DeBrusk um scores his 28th of the season, assisted by Brock Besser for his 25th assist, and Quinn Hughes gets his 60th assist of the season. He is also now tied with Alex Edler for the most points by a defenseman, from a defenseman in their career, and he's done it in hundreds less games. Alex Edler, obviously, is like a stalwart on the, I think I used that word right, on the Canucks D line for many, 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 many years. But it just kind of shows the skill that Quinn Hughes has and how special of a player he is that he's gotten to this milestone. I mean, he hasn't fully beaten the record yet. And I don't know, but you know what? I just hope that if he breaks it on Wednesday night, the Canucks stop the entire game and have a 30-minute ceremony in center ice just for that.
I'm very down.
Yeah, just it was just another game, really, at the end of a long season for both teams. Not a lot of wins, either or, especially not in the terms of the San Jose Sharks. One thing I was annoyed about the overtime is they kept having Atu Ratu come out to do the faceoffs and then just leave.
He leaves right away. It's so funny.
That's what
It's like,
Horvat would do, right?
mhm.
That's what we would have Bo Horvat. So we're just turning Atu Ratu into Bo Horvat. So really, we won the trade. Because we just got new Bo Horvat.
I like the way that I always look at it, and like, if this is like if this thinking is wrong, then please call me out on it. But like I like to think of it as like a dog, where like as soon as he does his job, he's like, yes, and then he leaves. And he's like, yes, I've done my job, and he goes to the bench. And then he's like Rick Tochick goes up to him, he's like, good boy, and then after that he's like, I wanna face off. I did it.
Okay,
This
but
is why we
like,
have possession.
what dog is going back somewhere else? I do not understand. No, like,
What, like you mean I mean like when a dog does something good,
yeah.
a lot of the times they'll go back to their owner.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that make uh, for my dog it's food then owner, but yeah. Um,
Okay.
he's very food motivated. Yeah.
But great point about Bo Horvat though, because nothing is perfect actually. So the last show that I hosted, he actually brought up the comparison. Like, do you think
Mm-hmm.
Atu Ratu is going to become the next Bo Horvat?
Mm-hmm.
And originally I said no because I actually think he would be more of a Manny Malhotra type of player,
Mm-hmm.
especially since Malhotra coached him down in Abbey. But I think I'm gonna eat my words from last stream, and I like considering how many goals he's had ever since the trade deadline and ever since he got called back up, his potential is up there.
Yeah, he's he is going to be a very good Canucks player for years to come. I think it's also like a say he's still leading, I believe, the Abbotsford Canucks in scoring, despite playing with the big.
Really,
I'm pretty sure. Like, um, sorry, Abbotsford Canucks stats, player stats. Do 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 do. That's
RC Baines has two more.
Archie Baines is to. Oh, okay. Wait, where's Ratu? He's
You
not
have to
on
scroll
this.
down because the players that are on the NHL roster right now are on the bottom.
Oh, okay, yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Um, yeah, Ratu is 39. Okay, yeah. But still, it's okay. I stand corrected. Yeah, Archibald is leading. But Asuratsu's second. He's only played 41 games in the AHL, and he's
Mhm.
still second in scoring for the Abbotsford Canucks. So it shows like what kind of player that he's kind of becoming. Um, and he's pretty much already there because he's getting all these minutes and this respect from Rick Tocchet. Sorry, Connor in the chat said I think Ratsu appreciates that he is valued at one thing that killed this team many times in overtime, having bad face-off percentages, which definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that that was the reason that we had a bunch of OTLs this year, but I'm not saying it's not the reason.
Yeah,
Like,
he fills the gap too because ever since we traded JT Miller, we didn't really have a face-off specialist.
mm-hmm,
So now, like he slots perfectly into our team,
mm-hmm,
and like looking into next season, like if you look at our depth, we
mm-hmm,
have like whether or not Souther resigns with us, he could fit in well as a second center, but really well as a checking line center.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think he'll be a good he's a good option for the Canucks going forward, especially if they're like because people will always say we lack center depth, but I think we have some pretty good center depth here. Um yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see him get these nods. So the three stars for tonight were Quinn Hughes first star for one assist, which I mean makes sense. Um breaks a record with that. Macklin Celebrini to take the rookie goal scoring lead. He now leads over Matvei Michkov, who they were tied for 24 heading into this game. Um, yeah, and a biggest talking point from your point of view, we will get into that very shortly. Just you wait, Connor. But Macklin Celebrini, yeah, he gets the goal. He's second star, and Nikita Tolopilo, when his NHL debut as a goaltender, gets his first career start in the big club. Um, yeah, he had a 938 save percentage, stopped 15 to 16, and before we get into talking about more about that, just wanted to let y'all know looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists and analysts across Canada. If you have a few spare bucks kicking around, you better head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/thegameovernetwork. There you'll find multiple tiers featuring different rewards and goodies for helping us grow. There's extra access, exclusive looks behind the scenes, Discord benefits, merch discounts, opportunities to give us feedback, and you can join us for special shows live where you can interact with hosts as we launch more ways to improve your experience. If you're not able to spare a few dollars, we have a free tier available so you don't miss out. If you really want to help us, make sure to click like and subscribe on YouTube, rate us 5 stars in your favorite podcast app, and share our work on your social media of choice. That's patreon.com/thegameovernetwork. Alrighty, so the Canucks, I'm gonna group Ty Mueller in this because we didn't fully have a show recap for the other game, but that where he actually made his debut. But Ty Mueller, Kirill Kudryavtsev, and Nikita Tolopilo get their first NHL games. Ty Mueller now, this was the second game. And then Kudryavtsev and Tolopilo both with their first. Tolopilo, his first career start. I get it. Demko's sick, so he's probably. I think they said he's shut down for the season just to be like, hey, you know what? Here, have a healthy off season for the first time in many years, which makes sense. But yeah, and then Tolopilo, who 34 games played for Abbotsford this year, has 2.68 goals against average. The only one lower, sorry, is Artur Shilov's, who has much more NHL experience. I mean, not much more, but like more than one game. At 18, 14, and 2, with I don't know what that stat means. ENG, I'm assuming empty net goals against, so I don't know what that. Hockey DB, please explain this to me. I've never seen that stat for a goalie before. He has 4 shutouts this year, and he was part of the 13-game winning streak that Abbotsford had late this season.
It is empty net goals.
Empty net goals, okay. Why is that against the goalie? If there's no goalie, why are they counting it as goalie stat? I do not understand.
I feel like that's really mean.
It is mean. But yeah, what did you think of Tolopilo tonight in his first
I
NHL start?
think Tolopilo is great. The first thing that you notice is how big he is in that. He's
Mhm.
6'6". He's 2 inches taller than Demko. I like how tall was Eddie Lack?
Oh God.
Just because for a quick second I was like, oh, um, we have a
6'4".
tall goalie again. Oh, 6'4".
So same height as Demko.
So Tolopilo is even bigger.
Yeah,
Nice.
he is large.
Yeah. So from what I've at least heard with some of the few people that watched Abbotsford Canucks, the starting position was basically between Tolopilo and Sealabs,
Mhm.
between the two. But Tolopilo did play a few more games just because Sealabs was on the main roster for the most part.
Yeah.
But he was able to hold his own pretty well.
Mhm. Yeah, like he um sorry, I need to like oh, that's something we could talk about later. Tolopilo, I'm pretty sure he was undrafted as well. Um, this is his second year of his contract, but he's an RFA, so like that's fine. Yeah, he signed with the Canucks in March of 2023. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was undrafted too, so it's great to see he gets his first career win in his first career game. Um, yeah, he's very large. He is very large. You see him in Abbotsford and he's just like he's kind of menacing. Like I
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. You know what? Good good for him. Uh Another debut tonight is Kirill Kudryavtsev, who in Abbotsford in 63 games played has 5 goals, 21 assists for 26 points. He's second in defensive scoring. actually he's tied for second in defense scoring with Cole McWard, and just behind and 11 points behind Christian Wolanin, who's like defensive superstar for or who's like defenseman superstar for the Abbotsford Canucks. Seriously, very good player. But yeah, Kudryavtsev also made his debut tonight. Um, he's more of a, from what I gathered, more of a solid defenseman. I think he's the first round 7 pick from 2022 to play in the
which is
NHL.
very impressive,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, to be able to fight it out to play on an NHL main roster. And mind you, like this is the end of the season where games don't necessarily matter too much.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was given the opportunity to prove himself on the main roster and to play pretty decently as well. He was very noticeable on the defensive end where
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like DPD when he first started making the main roster where he wasn't thinking too hard to the point where like he would overplay, aka the way that Noah Jolson would play a lot of the times. He wasn't making that many risks, I will say as well. When it came
Mm-hmm.
to playing the puck, he mainly played his position, but I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, so he was with the Sioux Greyhounds OHL in junior. Um yeah, he also was a +1 tonight because he was on as after Elias Pettersson left the ice after making a very good play in the defensive zone by pushing off of Will Smith for the Carlson goal. I was like, what's his name? Um, After that, he made a line change. He made a change, and Kudryavtsev came on. So technically +1. So good job, bro. Doing great for your first game. He was born in 2004, which hurts.
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what else? I mean, hey, if you want to talk young players, Macklin Celebrini was like 4 when the golden goal happened. So
Oh,
yeah. I
uh,
remember my birthday from 2006. Like, I remember a lot from that year.
hey, I wait, 2006?
He was born in 2000. Macklin Celebrini was born in
Oh, okay.
2006. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about how the golden goal was in 2006.
No.
But yeah, that that's like I always have to remind myself that I'm the same age as Connor McDavid, and that like if I look at the trajectory of both of our years, I'll just say that I had like a injury in high school, and that's why I didn't make it into the NHL.
I mean,
I returned ACL from football.
at least you finished your education. Uh um yeah, hockey players should stay in school. Didn't learn to read. Anyway, um Kirill Kudryavtsev also um his debut, and then another scorer that we didn't mention, we kind of mentioned, graduated high school in 2002. That's the year I was born. Nothing is perfect.
What? You graduated high school when you were 5? That's crazy. Good for you.
So, um, yeah, Ty Mueller, um, 21 years old. He's only a year younger. Actually, no, he's 2 months younger than me. So that makes me feel a bit better. He's 5 days younger than one of my friends. Um, 12 goals, 26 assists, and 38 points on the year. Again, he's tied for third in Abby scoring, behind Archie Baines in first, Atu Ratu in second, and then he's tied with Sammy Blay for third. Um, he's also had some pretty good moments, I think. I mean, I he only played 10 minutes his first game. He hasn't done like like it's not like Lekharimaki where he was like kind of instantly noticeable, but also he's not the type of player that I don't know what I'm saying anymore. What did you think
I,
about him?
Ty Mueller was okay. So he did start on the second line beside Bessie.
Hmm.
But it wasn't. How do I say this? He didn't really do too much, which is a good thing in the sense that like he didn't do too much where he did mess up, but there were a lot of like this is basically like when a player is green and like when he's first starting off in the NHL where like he's just learning the game. I
Hmm.
could tell that he is still learning the game.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's basically all I could say though from that.
Yeah. It's yeah, I get it. Like he's still like when they were doing the lineups and I was like, "Oh, he's with Brock Besser." They have Brock Besser center in his second last game as a Vancouver Canuck. His center is 21. I it's okay. Yeah. Um yeah, we're talking about Brock Besser tonight, I've decided. Um
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Really?
I told Mark beforehand. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for that, but you know what? I'm gonna have to confront it eventually, so might as well right now. Um, in front of a live studio audience. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see these guys. I was like, why is Tolopilo starting? And then I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, right. This game means absolutely nothing anymore. Which, yeah, I don't know. It's good to see. I hope that more players get similar opportunities. Um, coming up. Uh, Nikita Tolopilo. Okay, I almost said an incorrect stat, but between him and Tai Young, who was 19 and played 11 games, um, they're the two goalies that haven't taken penalties because Artur Shilovs and Yuri Patera, both have taken a penalty this season. By the way.
If I can just say really quickly before we get into the next period, what do you think Kiri Patera feels? Because he was signed last off season to
Mm-hmm.
fight for what's it called? He was basically supposed to be in the Lankinen spots,
Mm-hmm.
but he got pushed down the depth chart quite a bit to the point where like out of the four goalies that have played in the AHL, like he's started five.
Yeah, he also got put on waivers, got claimed by the Bruins, and then got sent back. Like I don't know. Uh, yeah, his recent like was he injured? Like he's barely played this season. Um, Yuri Patera was also a Czech-born Canadian mathematician.
Hmm?
Cool.
Where did he pull that stat? What?
I I just scrolled down a little bit and it says Yuri Patera, mathematician in brackets. He taught at the
Oh, I
Université
think.
de Montréal.
Oh, this is a different person.
This is a
Okay, never
different
mind.
person. Yeah,
Never mind.
there is Yuri Patera ice hockey. Um, which is a different Wikipedia page. I mean, he did sign a two-way deal, so there's that, but I don't know. I do wonder how he feels because he is re-signed for next season too. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Demko situation. Maybe he comes up and becomes Lankinen's backup. It could also be he just stays in the A. Because he's played 8 NHL games like in his career. So I don't think that they're considering the Canucks have the goaltending depth that they have somewhat now. I don't think that they're going to be like frothing at the mouth to bring him up, which I
Yeah.
mean, like it's not like he's old either. He's 26. And he has really nice eyebrows. So, you know what? Um, turn him into a skater. So he's not covered by the cage. I have no idea why this is the tangent I'm going on, but we're running with it. Yeah,
Hey,
we'll.
you know what? If we ever get into a 7 game series in the playoffs, and if Demko, Lankinen, Sealov, Soplio, and Tai Young all get injured, he might get a shot.
Yeah, Tai Young, the the 19-year-old that keeps bouncing from Abbotsford to the AHL. No, Abbotsford to the ECHL. That's because Abbotsford is in the AHL. My brain's fried. But yeah. Oh my god, you know what? He was a Vegas Golden Knight until 2024. He was part of the organization until 2024 and he was drafted in 2017. He was probably the longest tenured Vegas Golden Knight. Anyway, draft pick wise, because they do not keep them around. Um, oh, but they got rid of him when he was 25. So you know what? Once again, the Vegas Leonardo DiCaprios, they did it. Goalies, players. Next season. We're gonna be talking about next season and what our hopes, dreams, and what's gonna happen the off season as well for what we hope to see. Baines' career was ridiculous. His career was the ultimate yo-yo of a situation. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is like, I will say, just because I don't know if we're gonna transition to
We'll talk about
like
Archie
next
Baines,
period yet,
yeah,
but
but and then Archie Baines
like,
and then transition.
okay, cool. One thing I will say, I I will say this as someone from Surrey. I'm Kai is also from Surrey, but I'm pretty high on Archie Payne still. I don't care what anyone else says. Like I don't care what the any of the analytics will say. Archie Baines is someone who throughout his entire trajectory has been overlooked. And like if you're gonna get complimented by Connor Bedard on how well you played in the minors, considering the fact that he got dropped from one of his minor teams to becoming the points leader to not being drafted into the AHL, but then becoming an AHL All Star, like
Mm-hmm.
being a yo-yo of a situation is perfect. And I feel like if he is given the opportunity to fight for a spot next season, like I could see him becoming a gritty forward. He just needs to change his game slightly just to make it.
Yeah, like for comparison, in his final year with the Red Deer Rebels, in the WHL, Archie Baines was the points leader, across like
Yeah,
the season. Like he was first, second was Ben King, one of his Red Deer teammates, and then Logan Stankoven, who's now with Carolina, and then Connor Bedard. Just a bit of, context. He's also leading the WHL in assists that year as well. So, and like you said, AHL All Star. He's leading the Abbotsford Canucks. Despite also playing 13 games with the Vancouver Canucks. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he progresses. He is an RFA as well at the end of this year. So, um, we shall see what the offseason does. And with that, we are moving on to our next little. Sorry, I have to sneeze.
achoo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just a reminder, if you're enjoying the show so far, you probably want more of this, right? Well, make sure you hit the like button on this video, click subscribe on our channel, and make sure you check the notification bell so you're alerted when we go live. And if you're listening to our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating. I can read or even write a positive review. If you really like us, make sure to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can check us. You can find the Game Over Network on Blue Sky at thegameovernetwork.com, on TikTok and Twitter at Game Over NHL, on Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn at Game Over Network. Just before, nothing is perfect. I think Zach has the next game for the Canucks to end off the season, and then in the playoffs, it's kind of still up in the air. But potentially I may be on some Winnipeg games. So
Yeah, it depends on like I think Vancouver's sake, we won't be doing anything for that. But like Kaya said, she might be on for a few Winnipeg games, and the rest of the Game Over Network Just because most of the other teams should be making the playoffs. Depends if the Canadians make it, but um,
Whatever you
they
do.
will also be they will also be having post game shows on their own respective channels.
Yeah, so make sure to check out all the other game overs to keep up with that, and then yeah, we'll see. Like guessing. Well, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time, even if the Canucks obviously did nothing with the season. Mark, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media on everywhere at Marky Squida. So that is MarkySquita. That's everything from Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch.tv, Friendster, Tumblr. Tumblr, don't go on Tumblr. Yeah,
Oh my God. Coconuts glow, I guess.
Coconuts Glow.
Coconuts
It's for
glow.
Russ's stream.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Um, and you can find me Kaya May, Kaya with a J, May with an E, because that makes sense on pretty much any social media platform. Mostly on Instagram though, and like Twitch and YouTube. So,
you can
um,
find me on Marky Squida on Club Penguin and Webkins.
true. Yeah, I don't think my webkin's name is Kaya May.
That's a shame.
That's a shame. Um, but yeah, you can find us also at GameOverNetwork.com, or you could sign up for our upcoming newsletter. All right, so Canucks after tomorrow. Nope, Wednesday. The Canucks off season begins, and it is most likely their two big UFAs are Pia Suter and Brock Besser. Brock Besser is the longest tenured Vancouver Canuck. He's picked 23rd overall in 2015, and he's kind of been one of the core players for a decade of Vancouver Canucks hockey, pretty much almost. And he's the only active player on the team to have played with the Canucks.
With the
Sedins.
Sedins.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you with Sedins. And he's he's my favorite player, and yeah, there have been discussions about like rumors about contract situations, but with what a lot of people are hearing now is he's likely Wednesday is likely his last game as a Vancouver Canuck, which breaks my heart a little bit, but like as a Brock Besser fan, if the organization is going to treat you better somewhere else, it makes sense because the Canucks throughout the years, just like even this past trade deadline, Patrick Alvin openly like talking smack about him, like
Mm.
during a team press conference. Like that's just you shouldn't if you want to motivate your players that way. You already made a statement by removing the guy who allegedly tried to motivate players that way, and you're going to do that yourself now when you're not somebody who's in the locker room constantly. You're up in your office. Like I still don't like that. But sorry.
If I can say one thing about that too, management has done this to almost every single player that has tried to leave. Like I like honestly they've done it to Rick Tocchet as well. Like they've done it to Bessie last season. They did it to both Lindholm and Zadorov.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of did it to Horvat as well when he was
Yeah.
out of the doors. So it's like it's a tough acceptance to think that like we came from Jim Benning, so anything could be better than that. But it's still a tough realization that like th- it's not a fun place to it's not a fun place to be if you're trying to leave. It's kind of like imagine like a retail sales job where like the job can be fun if numbers are good, but as soon as stuff goes bad or as soon as start trying to leave, that's when they start to antagonize you.
Yep. Yep. Um, quite a bit of experience there. But yeah, like it's kind of my brain immediately went to cult because there's an exit cost usually when you leave a cult. like I used to listen to this podcast. I don't usually anymore, but because like there was like drama, which I had no idea about, but like the whole thing of the podcast changed, so I don't listen to it. But they had like a one of their markers of if this thing is a cult is there's an exit cost, whereas like a lot of the things that have interest, like you can be interested in Taylor Swift, it's not really a cult though because like there's an exit cost. You could stop listening to Taylor Swift at any moment. Um and
That's the
like
exit cost, though.
they yeah, some people may argue against it. I really like Taylor Swift, so like I that would hurt, but um yeah, it's kind of like the exit cost is like, oh yeah, this management is now going to like it's like when your friend breaks up with somebody and you immediately start talking smack about their ex. Except
Always.
it's your or like you have like a situationship end and instead of being like the sad heartbroken, you're like, "Oh yeah, well, you know what? It's a good thing. Like they were bad in this and this." Like it's
But the difference, though, is that like if your friend, if it's like in a relationship, that's a good thing. What the Canucks management is doing right now, that's a bad thing.
yeah, it's a toxic relation. It's a like, honey, maybe you're the
Oh,
problem.
oh, don't get me started about toxic relationships because this entire oh no, I'm in a very healthy relationship,
Yeah, I was
but my
like,
relationship with the Canucks is a toxic relationship.
"Oh, yeah." Like
Yeah, like
I think
if
most of my sports teams I have a toxic relationship with, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, oh my gosh, no, like literally, okay, let me I can literally break this down because it's been a talking point of mine for a while. So like let's go chronologically, okay? So when I first started being a Canucks fan, it was like from what I remember, my first instance of being a Canucks fan was when I was born, because I was born. My name is Mark. Around the same year where another person named Mark was named the Canucks captain. So it already started off in a really rocky start. We kind of knew of each other. I was very infatuated with the Canucks from like 2000 all the way up to the Stanley Cup run. And when the Canucks finally started to court me, when they wanted to start dating me, they're like, "Look at what I can do," and they pushed all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much." And like as soon as like they try to like get to the point of saying "I love you" as well, they lose 4-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I'm just like, oh, well, you know what? That's still okay. I still love you. I still believe in you. So I'm going to buy all your jerseys and put it on my wall, and I am going to become the best Canucks fan there is. But after that 2011 Canucks playoffs, like everything started to go downhill. Like Kessler leaves. Ryan Kessler was one of my favorite Canucks. Kessler leaves. The Sedins get old. We go through the whole Jim Benning era. And I was like, oh man, this is really hard. This is really tough. This is really hard. And I got to the point where like I made the decision to leave. And for those who don't know, I actually moved to Toronto in 2020. Um, I will like I moved for work, but also I kind of moved to become more of a Raptors fan instead of a Canucks fan. But do you remember what happened in 2020, Kaya?
Yeah, because I graduated high school, a
Yeah.
pandemic.
Oh, so other than pandemic, we're thinking Canucks.
Oh, they made
What
the
did the Canucks?
playoffs.
They made the
Yep.
playoffs and they beat the St. Louis Blues in the first round. And I'm looking from the other side of the country, and I'm like, oh, are you back? You're back. So I moved back to Vancouver 2021. Immediately we missed the playoffs the next season, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. Last season happened. And last season happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I finally like I believe this is the Canucks that I remember. So I'm gonna hold on to this, and like once again, they let me down. Lots of things happened. And now we are here to 2025. And I'm just like a toxic ex. I'm still here. I'm like pulling it forward. And like even if you look towards like the last few games where like the Canucks they've been telling me I'm gonna deliver. Don't worry, we'll make the playoffs. And like they beat what's it called? They pull off I'm going to pull off this grand gesture, and I'm going to break a record and beat the Dallas Stars when we are down by 3 goals. And I was like, holy crap, that's the Canucks I remember.
Mhm.
But immediately the next day, the they start flirting with someone else, and they miss the playoffs. So that's where I'm at. That's how my toxic relationship of the Canucks is.
Sorry, I just love that whole story. That was amazing. It was giving that one John Cena monologue in Belgium where he singled out that one kid that just looked so sad and was like, "This is a toxic relationship." Because honestly, I feel the same way. Like, you promise so much and then you produce so little. I feel like is that the that's the
Yeah,
kind of vibe with that. But
basically.
yeah, I like that analogy, but yeah, I was just say like all my sports teams disappoint me. If I don't have one of them doing well, then it is disastrous. So thank God for the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Hey, you know what? The one, to go back to the analogy of relationships, the one relationship that really proved to me that love can happen was when the Raptors won the 2019 NBA championships, to the point where it was like, you know what? You're worth it. I'll move to you. But it's like the Canucks, like I said, they're that one toxic ex where as soon as they do something small, it's so endearing. But
Hmm.
it's like oh my gosh, they got me flowers. I'm gonna go back to you. But in reality, they stole those flowers from a little kid.
I
I'll still accept the flowers because you're giving it to me and it's a gesture. I might not know that you stole it from a kid, and
that's
I might, but uh,
I wow. Wow. But yeah, no, I'm thinking over the last few months, like I'm a Blue Jays fan, Blue Jays suck. I'm a Canucks fan, Canucks suck.
but
I'm
the thing is, the Blue Jays brought you back because they re-signed Vladdy.
yes, what the Blue Jays are my toxic relationship.
Mm.
My it's just been a shorter burn than the Canucks. Uh like the like Red Bull, their car is awful. Ferrari doesn't know how to run an F1 team. Like what other teams? Rhea Ripley lost her title. Like there's so much sports
He's gonna
wise.
get it back.
I know. There's so much sports wise that's not going right. And then like yeah. So thank you, Jesper Sorensen. Can you also coach the Canucks? Bald man saved the Whitecaps. Bald man ruined the Canucks. Let's
Just
put it
grow
there.
hair.
Just grow hair. It's not hard.
What was our original topic?
Brock
Besser.
Besser.
Right.
Speaking of hair, um, yeah, I I meant to bring it on stream, but then I think I lost it in my car or somewhere. It may have just disappeared. I painted Brock Besser as a raccoon, just cuz.
You
And
told me this before the stream, and I still have the same reaction.
it's it's because I can't paint humans very well, but I can paint raccoons all right. Um, and so I need to charge my phone. I did Besser number 6. There we go.
Mm,
And then I did Brock Besser with the hockey stick.
nice.
And Brock Besser raccoon. But yeah, he's my favorite Canuck. As long as he doesn't go to the New York Islanders, it's fine by me. But yeah,
I
it's
want
gonna
him in
hurt.
Minnesota.
Oh,
I don't know how the cap is gonna work, but I want him in Minnesota.
yeah, like it's kind of like a story, like a full circle kind of moment. I think the Canucks screwed up overall when they didn't resign, when they only kept giving him bridge deals. Like
Mm.
even once the old once the front office switched, like in 2022, they still gave him, a bridge deal, and like that was great for the time being. And he goes and he scores 40, but then they don't resign him, and like I understand they don't want to like jump the gun, make a judgment too quickly. We saw how JT Miller worked out. But I thought Hronik was Kai's favorite. Canada rules, America rules. I'm going to fight you. I will find you in the Denny's parking lot in 20 minutes. Um, yeah, for legal reasons, that's a joke. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a bit painful. I have my Brock Besser jersey on display. I've had it on display now for two podcast shows recordings today. So I'm like, yeah, I really wish he was staying. But you know what? If he's going to be with he's going to be with somebody else that treats him better. Have at her. As long as it's not the New York Islanders, because I swear to God, if he cuts his hair, like, actually no, he can go to the New York Islanders if Lou Lamoriello leaves. Please. Like, just don't touch the hair. Everything else, fine. Like, yeah, I don't know. Minnesota though, I hope that's his team. But we'll see. You said the cap situation is iffy, but I mean, hey, they're not gonna have to pay Marc-Andre Fleury next year. Unless he decides to just be like, hey, I'm gonna play another year. And then
Which would be a very
it's just
Marc-Andre Fleury prank to do.
yeah, it's just a big prank, this whole like goodbye tour. Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury, if you're listening to this, that would be the funniest bit ever. Just to not retire. But yeah. Anyway, for next season, I mean, because they're not signing Besser, do you think they're making a move for Pia Suter?
I think they should.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% think they should. Just because, like, I've been reflecting on this for the last few days, and I'm just like, there's a possibility that Suter doesn't keep this up. Obviously because there's more pressure on him, there's high expectations on him, but year after year he's been one of the most consistent Canucks. And like the fact that he has the versatility of what's it called? Being a 1 through 4 a 1 through 4 forward that can play any role. I think it's understated that we should keep him. And just to look at Connor Cahill's point, because we're actually talking about this right now, I think biggest talking point, other than the what's it called? Other than the JT Miller stuff, other than the PD stuff, which like because of I guess mental, that me personally, I don't necessarily like talking about those type of stuffs, just because at the end of the day, they are human. Even though he's getting paid 11.6 mil a year, he's still human. I think the biggest talking point, considering the fact that we didn't make the playoffs, is the emergence of multiple bot 6 forwards that could easily make the top 6. That is honestly really underrated. Like you have players like Suter, you have players like Kiefer Sherwood who have really started to make a name out of themselves. You have Drew O'Connor, who I gas up every single time, and like he impresses me even more because of how like underrated he is. Like I told Kaya I think the first game that we had after the trade that like I feel like he's gonna become the Connor Garland of this entire trade where he's very underrated
Mm-hmm.
and he just comes in
So we're buying out
as
Marcus Patterson.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, hopefully not, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's at least my talking point. But other than going back to the original question, I think we keep Suter.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bit less of a of the NHL overall, Brad Marchand getting traded to Florida. I keep forgetting that happened. NHL season. Oh God. For the Canucks, I'm like, how did this happen? Because you were so good last year, and then this year, absolutely horrible. I think the biggest talking point is the Winnipeg Jets. Like, they've shown they can be
Oh,
good in the regular season. Actually, no, scratch that.
mm,
Winnipeg Jets, I'm talking it's got to be the Washington
Washington Capitals.
Capitals.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
I
fine
was
too.
like, cause like, oh yeah, President's Trophy, Winnipeg. Oh wait, no, wait a second,
Because they
Washington.
were touted to be like the one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, cause they were one of the oldest, and like
Yeah.
they barely squeak into the playoff. They get into the playoffs last year because John Tortorella pulled his goalie. Like that's pretty much it. They pulled his goalie. It's eliminated like 3 different teams at once. It was honestly hilarious move. But yeah, the Washington Capitals barely get into the playoffs last year, get swept by the President's Trophy winning New York Islanders, and then immediately after their series is done, they trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois because that makes sense. But
And yet he's been playing so well
I
on that
know,
team.
I know.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, like it's gonna be interesting to see what the playoffs come out to. Jets have doomed themselves as President's Trophy winners. Maybe they break the curse. I think the curse was last broken in 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
It's
Um,
been broken in 2011.
don't remind me. But yeah, I think the Washington Capitals overall the
Yeah.
biggest story of the NHL season because like we're talking about the team like Ovechkin beat the goal record. Like he did it. He did the damn thing. Like people were saying, "Oh yeah, he's not going to do it
He
until
broke a
2026."
Gretzky record.
He broke
That's
a
sick.
Gretzky record. That's like Sidney Crosby also broke a pretty good record. Like he had the most consistent like but
Mm.
and people like to harp on that. It's like we should be talking about Sidney Crosby more, but it's like yes, but also this is an insane stat. Like it is crazy to
Mm.
score 500 goals in the NHL. He scored 895. I think yeah, with and also in a season with he broke his leg, came back and still got the goal record. Like insane. It's the Washington Capitals and Alex Ovechkin. We'll see if they are able to I don't know if they're getting a cup, but the playoffs are a wild situation this year because it's also the first time since 1967 like when the Pens it's the first time basically in NHL history that the Penguins, Rangers and Bruins don't make the playoffs. So um yeah, yeah. If the superstition of the Jets to be believed. Okay, I'm going to assume you have a thought on that, so I'm going to look up the President's Trophy thing. So,
Oh, I was actually gonna quickly talk about like the LTIR situation that the Jets have because sorry, not the Jets, the Capitals. Because okay, if the Capitals win this season, does that also mean that Nicholas Backstrom and TJ Oshie get their names on the cup because they're on LTIR? Because that would be like I think Ovi would love that, and I think the Capitals would love that too, considering how like Nicholas Backstrom has assisted the Ovi the most.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, honestly, I think I'm rooting for the Capitals to make it out of the East. I just don't want to see Florida again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's valid. They say
Like,
Matthews can do it, but he doesn't hold a candle. I mean, people said Ovechkin couldn't do it.
mhm.
Like there's on record many people saying that.
So many people thought that Ovi couldn't do it, but like
Yeah.
the fact that people were like, "Oh, he's 35, he's so old." He's 39 now.
Like
Like, yeah.
he's doing it. My thing with Matthews is I think um like injury wise because he's had so many injuries specific to his like wrists and stuff. Like they're both I'm pretty sure they're both like surgically repaired. So I don't know if his body will be able to keep up like Ovechkin's has. Maybe he just needs to adjust his diet to whatever the hell Ovechkin does. Um yeah, the last team to break the President's Trophy curse were the Chicago Blackhawks in 2012, 2013. So for the 2013 Stanley Cup Finals. So there's that. So yeah, we could
Also,
have
regarding just quickly regarding Matthews, I think consistency is a big thing too. Because like even though he scored 69 goals last season,
Mhm.
um he's only scored 31 so far. And like sure, it could be because of injury, but like you have to remember how consistent Ovechkin was just to reach this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up actually. So Alex Ovechkin. Do. Okay, so their first. I'm gonna compare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Their first 9 seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna compare full seasons because there's also the 2012-2013 lockout that Ovechkin played through. So I'm gonna skip that. But like Austin Matthews, he's gone 40, 34, 37, 47, 41, 60, 40, 69, 31. And yes, the COVID shortened season. Yes, all that stuff. But and then there's also like injuries, everything. Ovechkin 52, 46, 65, 56, 50, 32, 38, 51, 53. Like he's consistently scored. He's scored more over 40 goals in more seasons than not. Um Austin Matthews, like he's only dropped below 40 a couple of times. But yeah, it also plays to how long can he play as well. Because like he's missed some significant times due to injury this season, playoffs last year. Like it's yeah, we'll see what happens. Connor says Matthews plays for the Leafs. It could still happen. It could still happen. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see in like so his first season is 2016-17. So we'll see in 2036 if he continues the run by that Ovechkin did. Yeah, we'll see in 2036 when he's Mark, how old will you be in 2036?
Let me see.
Because Austin
37
Matthews.
plus 11, 38, 39. Austin Matthews is 2 days younger than me.
Really? Okay, because that, like... So technically you would have been 2015 NHL entry draft, and because of his date of birth, he's the 2060. It's something...
No, yeah. Because, like, I know the cutoff date is the 15th.
Oh, okay, okay.
What I know.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me double check. Let me fact check myself.
I'm pretty sure it's the 15th. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, I know, like, I was saying, oh yeah, your like, high school graduation year, that's your draft year.
It's September 15th.
Okay, so, yeah. Yeah, because I'd be at the 2021 entry draft, because December, but, I can't be drafted into the NHL because, I can't play hockey. Anyway, Austin Matthews. I think the biggest story of, because we always got to bring it back to the Leafs, I think the biggest story of the season has been the Washington Capitals. Just overall. Because it's been insane. We'll see what happens with the playoffs. There is the playoff series. I don't think it's set yet. The brackets.
No, not yet. Just because it's still between the Canadians and
Columbus.
Is it Columbus? Yeah, Columbus. Because like if Columbus wins the next 2 games and the Canadians lose the next one, Columbus wins.
Yeah, which is wild for both teams that like you would have thought would be fighting for the
lottery.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Draft lottery. Yep. Yeah, it's wild to think about those Oh my god, San Jose. So the bottom of the East Division is the Boston Bruins right now with 75 points. The bottom of the West is the San Jose Sharks with 52 points. The Boston Bruins have 23 more points, despite being in the same position divisionally. I love that Columbus gets in ahead of the Habs. I mean...
I think storyline-wise, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think it would be so funny if Demidov tears up the playoffs and then wins the Calder next year.
Yeah, right. Because, tonight he made his NHL debut and scored in, like, the first period.
Yeah.
Which, like, that was also wild. But,
like,
yeah.
One thing I will say, and I am also kind of saying this just in case Game Over Montreal is here. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. I like the Habs this season.
Oh, yeah. Like,
they're fun to watch.
They're fun. It's a fun team.
Like, there's levels to, like, my hate towards other teams. Like, the Oilers will always be there. The Bruins will always be there. The Flames, like, when I was growing up, I hated Jarome Iginla, but I respected their game. But, like, it's hard it's hard for me to hate like Nick Suzuki. Like Lane Hudson is doing really well, which by the way, I don't know if you were watching the second intermission, but when they were talking about like who would win the Calder,
Yep.
none of them said Hudson, and whoever the person is on the left said Cole Hudson, who is still in
Landon
college.
Ferraro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Landon Ferraro said Cole Hudson. I was
Yep.
like, yeah, nope, you guys, yep, nope.
I was like, he said Cole Hudson. I was like, that's not the guy. That's not the
Yeah,
guy. I was a little confused there, but yeah, no one said Lane Hudson, which like I get it. They're talking about Macklin Celebrini because he's in the building.
hmm
Um, yeah, Columbus getting in
but
would be
yeah,
perfect to commemorate Gaudreau. I do agree
and
with that.
I will say just to Connor's point in chat, like although like it would be so fun to see Demidov in the playoffs storyline wise, like if the plot like goes through, the Blue Jackets fight until the last game to make the playoffs.
Hmm.
So I think that would be cool.
Yeah,
I just like it's hard at least like for me as a Canucks fan, it's hard not to like the Canadians
yeah.
this year.
They're I don't like dislike the Canadians, but I also think that's because it's like my dad's second team, so like I kind of have to
Yeah.
understand what's going on there. Um, and also they're fans. Their fan base is also just so fun. Like it just seems like the vibes are good over there.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, for the Blue Jackets, the Habs have one game remaining. That is, they need to get a point
Mm.
against the Hurricanes.
Which is gonna be tough.
Which is gonna be tough, yeah, especially. And then the Blue Jackets are playing the Flyers. They're in Philadelphia on Tuesday, and they're against the Islanders tomorrow. So I don't mind them, but their fan base is really
I, I
That's
don't think
they're
they're arrogant. I just think that they're Quebecois.
fair. I mean, like I don't know. I feel like every fan base has its own section of fans that you
We're
know
Canucks fans.
we can't talk.
Yeah,
We cannot say anything.
like I don't get me wrong. I love the Canucks, but like in terms of being obnoxious, I will 100% proudly take that.
Yeah. Yeah, the Blue Jackets also play the Islanders, so they have, markedly less um tough opponents, you could say,
Mm.
compared to Montreal. But then again, the Hurricanes already have a playoff spot. Are they going to be resting some of their key guys? Because you see a lot of teams doing that. Obviously, like the Oilers.
Yeah, like the Oilers like rested like 10 players.
Yeah, they rested a lot, but still had Darnell Nurse who had a breakaway, which is just so funny to see. Um, they showed it in between one of the Canucks periods, and yeah, that's duh. Anyway, so we'll see. It's if the Blue Jackets lose either of the games against the Flyers or the Islanders, then they're done.
Mm.
The Habs will have to see if the Blue Jackets win tomorrow. The Habs have to absolutely get the extra point against Carolina to fully knock Columbus out. If the Blue Jackets either lose in OT or they lose in regulation, the Habs are in.
Mm.
So it's very, very close. But we'll see. Either of those teams, they're going to face off against the Washington Capitals. So it'll be a good series nonetheless. But yeah. Anyway, put some questions in the chat, maybe. We kind of did this, but I'll just gonna talk about some other stuff for a second here. What better way to support something you love than by repping it on yourself? Game Over's apparel line is dropped with 3 unique lines. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull over our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, want to wear your love for the goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee and a toque, we have you covered. Designed by Richie Ellis from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code and stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media while ripping your community. Okay. Okay.
So going, if I could actually ask you a question, going back to the third period, do you think we should resign Sule?
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think
if
it's
okay,
sorry.
oh sorry, I was gonna say, and if so, how much?
Mm. 5?
I'm comfortable with 5. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with like a 5x5.
Yeah. That's kind of like where and like the Canucks have not shied away from that type of contract.
Mm.
5x5 I think is a good deal because he's so versatile or versatile. I don't know how to say that name. Um that's not a name, that's a noun. Is it a noun or is it an adjective?
English is my second language.
Fair enough. Sometimes I talk like it is mine, so
But no, you have a good point though, because like obviously in the eyes of owners and management, your value is based off of your contract.
yeah.
And like I think him being paid less than Teddy Bluger is like I'm not gonna not to discredit Teddy Bluger. And obviously like if you were to ask me 2 seasons ago, I would have said that they're the same player. But like I think he's definitely worth getting paid around the same as Connor Garland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not gonna say he's more useful than Connor Garland because um Connor Garland has like he's contributed a lot, but also Pius Suter like he has more like he's also a center, right? So
Mm.
he may not have the same goal scoring touch as a winger, but he's still very useful just across the board. So I don't know. He should be making around the same as Garland, potentially for a little bit longer, because I think Garland's contract runs out next year. It's either next year or the year after. So
Garland?
yeah,
Year next year.
next
Next year.
year, yeah. So potentially replace. I mean, I don't want to say potentially replacement for Connor Garland because obviously he's not a winger, but we also have wingers coming down the pipeline. Um, yeah. Due to scheduling conflicts, he could not do Game Over recently. She hasn't decided to finish. Honestly, I think
That
I
was
also
me actually.
it also could have been me because I also
Yeah,
made a post on the like I'm actually gonna go check that now because I'm like it
because the most recent one was me because I had class.
yeah um the one from 2 weeks ago I think
That
was
was me.
also me.
Yeah,
That was me for it was both class. Yeah, it's final season. Um yeah, or it was for me. But
it was for me. I just had my first one today.
oh, fun.
Yeah, it was. It was like how do I explain this? So it was a 3 hour final that I finished in 50 minutes. So it's either like you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as I do not know what the fuck I was doing, or I knew it quite a bit. And I want to say it was the latter.
Mhm.
But you know what? The last time I thought that I got a 61, so
That was that's me. That was me with like my astronomy final. Like my not this past semester but the semester before that. I took an astronomy course and I yeah, I was I was like we had 3 hours to do the final and I just wanted to get out of there. So I think I did it in about 50 minutes and I was just like, "You know what? It's done. I never have to think about math in that way ever again." Math or science in that way. Um Also, I just wanted to point out something I just noticed. The Canes have a losing record on the road. Like 16-9-4. 16-19-4. So, if the Hurricanes don't get home ice advantage, oh, wait, no, they definitely have home ice advantage. I just looked. Okay. Between Yeah, so they definitely have home ice advantage over the New Jersey Devils, who's likely going to be their opponent in the first round. But yeah, it'll be an interesting time. But I mean, the Devils also don't have a stellar home record, 19-16-5. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I have a question before we end off the show here. Probably. It's very important. It's very important. Very serious. Does Lightning McQueen have life insurance or car insurance?
I'm actually thinking. Hold on. I think it's life insurance just because if you get car insurance, it doesn't cover death. It
Mm-hmm.
covers it covers like injury. No, sorry, it doesn't cover injury. It covers like what's it called? If the car gets like broken, like if you crash, but it doesn't cover anyone inside.
Mm-hmm. But
So Lightning McQueen, even though he is a car, he is still a living and breathing entity. So if he gets car insurance, that doesn't mean that his pension is gonna go towards his future generations.
that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about it
Sorry,
that way.
I, I don't know if that's how you want me to answer it.
No, it's just F1 made a video of asking their drivers that question, and I just like it's my new favorite thing. Yeah. Also forcing a student to do 3-hour exams is child cruelty.
But
That's
I'm
yeah.
also in my late 20s, so I don't know if that's you know what? Yes, I I get mistaken for a lot younger, so I will take that.
Yeah, that's fair. I yeah, 3-hour exams are not fun.
A lot. You're not allowed to use the washroom either,
Really? We got
for the most part.
we got escorted if we had to use the washroom. Um,
Aw.
yeah, nailed that test about as well as the Canucks nailed this year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it depends on how much you can define met expectations, but
yeah, I don't know. I still have yet to receive any of my final grades, so yay. Anyway, I think that's where we'll end it off for right now. Mark, since this is our last Game Over Vancouver show of the season. Do you have anything to say? Any last words? But like technically, yeah, for the season.
oh
Just
yeah, this was really fun.
mhm.
So this was actually my first, I guess, year of doing anything sports related as a profession, and I just want to say it was fun. Shout out to everyone in chat, by the way, who made this fun. Thank you, Kaya, and to the rest of the Game Over network for welcoming me. And obviously, I hope that we could have done this a bit longer this season because of the playoffs. But yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, it's not my first rodeo here, but it was a great experience. I wish the Canucks had done better, but it was nice to just have a community again to talk through these games and have group therapy sessions. And yeah, big shout out to Mark and Zach, who is hosting our final Game Over Vancouver of the season on Wednesday. So be sure to check that out. Make sure to check out all the rest of the Game Over Network channels. You can find them just Game Over, insert Canadian City here, or just the Game Over Network main channel. You'll be able to find everyone there to keep up with the playoffs, keep up with all the rest of the content. And yeah, thank you. Final game of a very disappointing season. Time to reflect on ourselves. We would get back on top. We didn't even talk about Rick Tocchet. Just hopefully he's not a Canucks coach next day for a very long time. Anyway, um,
So if I can quickly make a comment of that before we finish, Quinn Hughes has
I know.
told management that he wants to stay, so he's probably gonna stay. I'm sorry, Kaya.
Quinn. Anyway, Quinn, why did you do this? Yeah. Have a great night, everybody. I cannot believe you, Quinn Hughes. Anyway, Canucks beat the San Jose Sharks. in a game that totally mattered. 2-1 in overtime, thanks to Jake DeBrusk, Brockmaster, and Quinn Hughes getting a record-breaking assist. Thank you, or a record-tying assist. Thank you so much for watching Game Over Vancouver throughout tonight and throughout the season. And yeah, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your off season, everybody. See you again in October. Bye.